What's up, market snipers? This is Jesse. The MACD had a bullish crossover on the monthly chart. Then why isn't price going to the moon? Why isn't price going up, right? Well, we're going to take a deeper dive on the MACD on the monthly chart. And there's two scenarios. One scenario is for the bulls, the bullish case, and the second scenario is for the bears, the bearish case, right? So let's start off with the bullish case. The bullish case is this. We're going to go back into time. We're going to go back to when we were talking about it on the Twitter X app. And you can see on Bitcoin that in January, February, we had that bearish MACD crossover, right? On the monthly chart. So January or February of 2022, we had that bearish MACD crossover. And there was price started to bounce from 33,000 all the way back up to this 45, 46, $48,000 range for a couple of months. So bearish MACD crossover. But even though there's a bearish MACD crossover on a monthly chart, which takes time to play out, price bounced, right? And it was a pretty big bounce. Like from the wick to wick, we're looking at a 40% plus bounce from wick to wick after the bearish MACD crossover. And I remember, if you've been following me back here for more than a year and a half, almost 2 years now, a year and a half or whatever, you'll remember that many people were very bullish. Many investors, many traders were thinking that we're going to go back up and revisit all-time highs and so on and so on. I was calling out the bearish MACD crossover and that it doesn't happen very often. And so when it does, usually you expect a longer downward trend or a longer upward trend on the MACD. It doesn't just like flip back and forth nonstop, right? Especially on a monthly chart, right? It takes time to play out. So that is scenario one. And why is it the bullish case, right? Because we had a MACD bullish crossover in July. So if you can kind of see here, we had a bullish MACD crossover officially in July. And instead of price taking off to the upside, there was two months down, two downward months, right? So very similar. Bearish MACD crossover, price bounces. Bullish MACD crossover, price retraces, right? So, and then that third month, it started to break back down. Is this third month going to find support and take off to the upside? Very similar to how this month, the third month crossed over after, the third month after it crossing over, broke back down to the downside and took out this monthly close pivot here and then continued down that downward trend, right? It remains to be seen. Now, what's going to have me kind of leaning towards the other way is these other videos that we covered. So definitely go check out this crash confirmed from 4 days ago, talking about the SP 500 and Bitcoin. And then also, if you missed this one, the market crash, I was talking about a deeper dive on NASDAQ and Bitcoin as well. So go take a look at those or follow me on the live streams every day. We'd love to have you on there. And we'll chart your requests in the second half. We rock and roll for an hour, hour 15 minutes, sometimes an hour and a half. So that is the bullish case. That's what we would be hoping for, right? However, if we're seeing a bear market, if we're seeing a larger correction in the markets from NASDAQ, SP 500, and all that stuff, what we could see is this. We could see the MACD bullish crossover and then literally the next month just cross back over, right? I know I just said that it doesn't happen very often with the monthly chart flipping back and forth, from 1 month to the next, but I'm going to show you the bearish case, right? The bearish case, we don't have to look far. We just go to the Dow Jones, right? So the Dow Jones, we're looking here, and here is the MACD of the Dow Jones, right? Very similar to Bitcoin. Right around that January or February bearish cross, right? Had this big trend downward on the MACD, right? Almost exact same as Bitcoin. Then had a bullish crossover, right? July of 2023, very similar to Bitcoin, right? It lines up almost perfectly. And then what happens is after that, there was another month in August, and now we had a close back below in September. So 2 cases, bullish and bearish. One is the opposite of what happened in January, February 2022, where it was a bearish MACD crossover and price bounces for a couple months. We had a bullish MACD crossover and then price retraces for a couple months before moving in the correct overall direction. Or it just crashes back down and after the bullish crossover ends up having a bearish crossover like the Dow Jones. So if you go check out those other videos, you'll think that I'm most likely kind of leaning towards how the Dow Jones is playing out. And I'm sure it's probably the S&P 500. I'm sure it's the Russell as well. We can take a look at it. Almost identical, right? Russell corrected about the same time as Bitcoin, January and February 2022. Big move down, bullish MACD crossover, followed by it flipped right back over with another bearish MACD crossover on the Russell. S&P 500 has not done it yet, and neither has the NASDAQ, but it's kind of hooking over, right? So it's a possibility that it's doing that. And so that's where we're going to leave it. It's not confirmed one way or the other. I can make a case for both sides. We'll continue to watch it. You know, we'll be snipering the markets together on the daily chart, the weekly chart, the lower time frames. We'll be covering in real time. Thank you for all of your support, and I'll see you on the next one, and I'll see you on tomorrow's live stream. Thank you.